Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about what sets us apart. And when I talk about us regarding this podcast, I'm talking about if you're on the spiritual walk, if you're doing everything you can do to be your best self, if you're trying to stay positive, really regarding everything we've talked about. However, when you're with people who are not positive or are not on a positive journey or not in a positive frame of mind, but are in a negative mode, make negative comments, you can really see the difference. And I think as you start climbing this ladder, you will end up cultivating like-minded people who think like you. It doesn't mean you're going to get rid of all your old friends, but you'll really see the difference. You will really see what does set us apart. And I was doing some reading, and I found an article about the people that are the happiest. 9 things that they do, and I'm happy to say this podcast, without even realizing it, covered all 9 of those. And I'm going to go over those. The first one is embrace positivity, which to me, that means you can look at the dark side or you can look at the light side, and you start looking at the light side of things, even if it doesn't come natural right now. If you put some effort into it and you start trying, it will become more and more of a habit until you are walking in that positivity and you are walking in that light. An example of this is I was just recently talking to a friend who said she had prayed about something, and then she proceeded to say, it was like within 30 seconds, what if this or that happens? The complete opposite of what she prayed for. And I told her, you cannot pray for something and then turn around and say the opposite. You either have faith or you don't. And I think in walking in positivity is walking in faith in all areas. The second one was prioritizing health. And I think they're referring to not only physical health, but mental health, which is as important, if not more so. And I believe that to really be mentally healthy, you do need to tweak and make some adjustments to your thoughts. And I think always referring to the negative or letting your mind run wild, which it will do if you allow it, and reeling it back in and turning it into a positive direction would put you on the road to mental health. As far as physical health goes, we all know what needs to be done. We need to exercise. We need to eat right. And what's interesting, everything you do for your physical health translates into good mental health, especially the eating correctly, because sugar causes inflammation. Inflammation causes your brain to swell, and then it affects your thinking. So overall, it's the whole package. It's mental and physical. With that being said, to be our best selves, which is what we all strive to do, we should be doing these things anyway. And I'm not saying deprive yourself. I'll admit I'm one of the worst when it comes to sweets, but it doesn't hurt to have something once in a while. But try your best to be on track most of the time. Or if you are going to have sweets, make sure you take in something nutritious before then. And you will be shocked how that affects your mind and your thinking. And you'll feel better just in making those adjustments. The third being lifelong learning. That's really an interesting one, especially, oh my gosh, at today's age, things are changing so fast with technology. And a lot of people I hear give up and say, oh, I'm not going to bother learning this or that. But it can be fun, and it feels good to be on track with what's going on. Or the last episode talks quite a bit about the next best chapter in your life. And to be good at anything, You need to learn about it. You need to learn how to be your best at it, striving to become the best in that particular situation. So lifelong learning is right in line with your future goals. Number 4 is cultivating friendships. Again, it goes along the line, if you're learning, if you're trying to be good at something, the best way to start is to get in a group of like-minded people or to find people with the same interests as you. Therefore, it strikes a common bond, and you can easily have conversations, and it's a way to start new friendships. So it goes hand in hand. Actually, lifelong learning can translate into cultivating new relationships by the people that you meet that have the same interests as you. How refreshing to go out to lunch with someone that you can actually talk to about what really interests you. The 5th is embracing change. And I find this all very interesting as I'm reading these, that all of this falls in place with the previous episode. Change is sometimes difficult. And when we're forced to make change, sometimes we dig our heels in the ground. But change can open up a whole new world. It can be a whole new chapter in your life. It can bring you the new friendships and new relationships. It can give you goals. It can force you to have the lifelong learning. So try your best not to resist change, but embrace it and believe and look for the change that you're going to be interested in. And then do everything you can do to be good at it and enjoy the journey. Number 6 is practicing self-love. Now, don't get selfishness mixed up with self-love. I think a lot of people do. By putting yourself first, and you should put yourself first. Because if you're not in the best shape or being the best that you can be, you're really of no good to anybody else. In fact, you're quite the opposite. If you can't help it is one thing, but if you can, putting yourself first is very important. And by putting yourself first, you need to take care of yourself, both physically and mentally. And remember, when people come to you with problems that could normally bring you down, the best thing you can do is really listen to them. But don't try to solve their problems and don't worry about their problems, because you worrying doesn't do them any good. You need to be a solid foundation and listen when somebody comes to you. But practicing self-love is very important. Not in a selfish way. We still need to take care of our priorities. But if you don't love you more than anybody else here on this earth, then who does? You have to be able to count on yourself. Oh, I love number 7. It's maintaining a sense of humor. I don't know about the rest of you, but there's nothing I love more is to laugh. And I love when people call me and they have a sense of humor. I don't mean they need to be a clown all the time, but some people never laughed, and it really does bring you down. But laughter is such good medicine, and if you can find the humor in some things, then I think it's very healthy. Love yourself, make yourself laugh, and hopefully be around people that make you laugh, because laughing is fun, healthy, and it's good for you. Number 8 is living in the present moment. Not only is the present moment all there is, and we should all be in the present moment, but it also takes our mind off of troubles or problems, whether they're real or imaginary. And when you're in the present moment, you are actually more generous to others because you're fully present for them as well, to listen to what they're saying, to pay attention to what they're doing. And when you're in the present moment, then you're not nervous about what's going to take place. You're just living moment to moment, putting one foot in front of the other. So by being in the present moment, you're taking away a lot of negative emotions. And if you have trouble staying in the present moment, which is very common, practice and practice and practice, and it gets better and better. Now we're up to number 9. And I will say this is right in line of what the last episode was about. It is called Cultivating a Sense of Purpose. Only in the last episode I referred to it as identity. Purpose, identity, they go hand in hand. All of us need to feel that we have a purpose, that we have an identity, that we are something, that we have a title. And I know I explained what happened to me when I got ill. One of the first things that crossed my mind is, now what am I? What is my identity? It was kind of a crisis to lose my identity. But the good news is there are endless purposes for each and every one of us out there. And when you seek and start working towards your purpose, that opens the other 9 things like lifelong learning, relationships. Everything goes hand in hand to make you the best person that you can be, to live your best life, to fulfill that purpose and be who you were meant to be, whether it be a career or a hobby, to learn about it, to become better at it, to meet people that are like-minded. So no matter what's happening, no matter why you lost what you thought was your purpose, there are endless opportunities right behind it. My suggestion is to start praying and meditating so the door's open to what your purpose is. It may not be the same purpose you had last year or last month, but it might be time to start a new chapter and start a new purpose. My purpose now is voiceover, and there's been some obstacles for me. But what I would like to do, all the things that we have talked about, and if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, I highly recommend that you do, because each one has an epiphany that is step by step toward becoming your best self, living your best life. And that's what this podcast is all about. So I'm going to read those 9 things again that help you to become your best self, live your best life, become the best person you can be. But I'm not going to fill in the gaps in between. I'm just going to read it. Number 1 is embrace positivity. Number 2 is prioritize your health, both mental and physical. Number 3 is lifelong learning. Number 4 is cultivating relationships. Number 5 is embrace change. Number 6, practice self-love. Number 7, maintain a sense of humor. Number 8 is live in the present moment. And number 9 is cultivate a sense of purpose. I'm happy to say that the previous episodes have had these steps in mind without even knowing these are a recipe for happiness and health. I think if we practice all of them, and I'd even write it on a little piece of paper and word it as simply as possible and carry it with you and take these steps day by day. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. Nothing worth having really happens overnight. But start to cultivate all of it, and I think you'll be amazed of the changes. And a year from now, you'll look back at today and notice the changes and the strides that you have made to become your best self. With that being said, God bless you, and I will talk to you next week. If you have any questions or comments, please private message me on Facebook at Lynette Rubino. That's RUBINO-Meiglitz. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.